This is my continuing series on elementary mathematics, and we're going to talk about the commutative property and the associative property. Now that might scare you at first. Let me help you out with that. Let's talk about the commutative property. Let's talk about community for a minute. That's places where people gather together. Okay, so this is a gathering together. And now I'm going to illustrate that. Let's say you have a plastic cup. And you decide one day to put 5 dimes in the plastic cup, then you decide to place 10 nickels in the plastic cup. Well, when you're all said and done, you have $1 worth of change. But then the next day you come by and you put 10 nickels in the cup, then you put 5 dimes in the cup. Well, guess what? You still have $1 in there. Okay? So what we're saying here, it doesn't matter whether you put the 5 dimes in the cup first or you put the 10 nickels in the cup first. The mere fact of the matter is that when you have 5 dimes and 10 nickels in a cup, whichever way you put them in first, you're going to end up with $1 worth of change. That's how that works. So, when you're talking about the commutative property, A plus B equals B plus A. That's how that works. Now for the next one, we're talking about association. Okay? Who you're associating with. Okay? Now then, let's say we have 3 people. Molly, Tom, and Bob. Now they all 3 enter a single room. Okay? Let's say that they're entering a classroom. Okay? Now, the first day, Molly starts associating with Tom and completely ignores Bob. Well, there's still 3 people in the room, even though Molly is not talking to Bob. Well, let's say they all go home, they come back the next day into the same classroom. Okay? It's a new day, they're in the same classroom they were the day before. Okay, but this time, Molly decides to talk to Bob, but not talk to Tom. Well, it doesn't matter which person she's talking to on which particular day. If those 3 people in that classroom, there's going to be 3 people. Same thing here. A plus B plus C. In this case, when you have these parentheses like this, okay, what it's saying is you have to add the B and the C together first, then you add it to A. Well, in this case, if you add B and C together and then add it to A, it's going to be the same amount as if you add A and B together first, then add C. These 2 are exactly the same total. Why? Because it doesn't matter if Molly talks to Tom one day and then talks to Bob the next day, as long as those 3 people show up in that classroom. Well, 3 people showed up one day, and then 3 people showed up the next day. Total was exactly the same. See what I mean? It doesn't matter who's associating with who. Shoot, Bob and Tom could be talking to each other and completely ignore Molly, and there'd still be 3 people in that classroom. That's a fact. You get it now? Alright. I will tell you more in a future video. Stay tuned.